To many, being a professional gambler might seem like the coolest job ever. However, what's it really like to make a living betting on sports? I'm going to give you an inside look at how a professional sports bettor thinks, and then you can decide if you have what it takes to go pro. Hi, I'm Jack from Unabated. For the past 20 years, I've made much of my income from beating casinos and sportsbooks. On my tax returns, my occupation is listed as professional gambler. It's a job I definitely enjoy, but it's much less glamorous than it appears. When I started out, advantage gambling was just a side hustle for me. Eventually, I reached a point where I couldn't deny that this was a viable, primary source of income, so I went pro. First, you're probably wondering how someone becomes a professional gambler. Well, there's no certification or license you receive. The only real delineation for US bettors is how you file your taxes. The IRS has a 9-point checklist to determine whether or not your pursuit is a hobby or a profession. Here are the 9 points. However, they can be summed up with one simple question. Do you treat this as a professional business? Now, a professional bettor typically has a business plan. It's a document where they can prove to any inquiry that they conduct themselves as a business with a plan for profit. They keep their business funds and their personal funds separate, often utilizing business banking accounts as well as business structures such as an LLC or an S-Corp. A professional bettor doesn't forecast their future earnings based solely on past results, though. A professional bettor measures things in EV, expected value. They're concerned about maximizing expected value above all. The actual win-loss in a week or a month is of little consequence as long as the EV was where they projected it out to be. Now, for those of you who might not know how EV or expected value is derived, it's pretty straightforward. The probability your wager wins, multiplied by the amount you win if it does, minus the probability your wager loses, multiplied by the amount you lose if it does. Anyone who's ever fantasized about quitting their boring 9-to-5 job and becoming a professional gambler probably bases their dream on past results. Maybe they have a good weekend of betting and they think they can repeat that 52 times a year, or a good month, or even a good season. But honestly, a serious professional gambler doesn't use past results. They use their EV. How much expected value have they generated, and how much can they continue to generate? Tracking your expected value isn't always easy, but it certainly would be enlightening if with every bet you make, you could see your EV in real time. Seeing those numbers increase or decrease would help a lot of people make smarter decisions. Professional bettors understand this, and they focus on accruing the most possible EV that they can. Another trait that you'll find in most professional bettors is that they're fairly unemotional and unbiased. Being a rabid fan of sports usually comes with some biases that aren't beneficial in betting. You can be a fan of a team, but you better be willing to put your fandom aside and bet against them if the number is right. Otherwise, you're leaving EV on the table and violating your own business plan. Speaking of emotions, that's probably the most important thing that separates the pros from the Joes. Being a professional is not about how you handle wins, it's more about how you handle losses. There are going to be many, many losses. You must be able to take a loss calmly and, well, professionally. You're going to face bad beats and games that don't go your way for no fault of your own.
The most amazing, thrilling finish in the history of college football.
You have to have that steely resolve. Have you ever noticed how some head coaches can be just completely unfazed immediately after suffering a gut-wrenching defeat? They'll shake the hand of their opponent, and then minutes later, they'll go to face the media as if everything is under control. Well, I try to imagine that I'm the head coach of this betting team, and now I have to go face the media even after a tough loss. It's not always easy, but the alternative is not a productive path. You see, the natural urge is to recoup that loss as quickly as possible. Maybe make a bigger bet to offset that loss and get you back to where you should have been in terms of profit. But that's never the best path. Either you're making a negative expected value wager and digging yourself an EV hole, or if it's a positive EV wager, you may be overbetting your bankroll relative to your edge, and that's a recipe for disaster as well. The true professional accepts losses as a cost of doing business. They focus on the long run and rest in the knowledge that they banked some positive EV that they'll end up manifesting later down the line. If you haven't picked up on it already, being a professional gambler requires discipline. A person who struggles with self-discipline typically doesn't make for a good professional gambler. Of course, we all have our shortcomings, but if one of your vices is reckless gambling, then you're not going to be able to bury those urges easily just by focusing on grinding out edges in sports betting. In fact, what I've seen happen plenty of times is that winning sports betting just allows the bad gambling behavior to heat up under the surface, undetected. There's a reason they put the sportsbook at the back of the casino. They want to tempt you with every other game in the house on your way in or out. And if you're betting online in a state that has both online sportsbooks and online casinos, you're going to have to weather a lot of cross-marketing. They want you to play in the casino. Another important difference for professional bettors is how they view money. To a professional bettor, money is a tool, and it's necessary for them to ply their craft. Just as a skilled craftsman wouldn't want to be careless with their tools, a professional bettor shouldn't be careless with their money. That includes what we just discussed with chasing losses, but it also includes how they look at wins. A professional bettor doesn't think of money won or lost as something material. If I lose $2,000, I don't think of that as a luxury watch I've just lost. Conversely, if I win $2,000, I don't go out and buy that watch. The best thing you can buy with your winnings is a bigger bankroll. Of course, when sports betting is a primary source of your income, you have to account for drawing on your winnings to pay for life expenses, but you'll find out that a lot of true professionals tend to live fiscally responsible lifestyles. For many professional gamblers, making money from gambling is a means to an end. They intend to work hard profiting from betting in order to set up passive income scenarios down the line. I know a lot of extremely wealthy people who got their start in sports betting and gambling and parlayed that into success in real estate, business ownership, and other investment opportunities. That brings me to another important trait of professional bettors. They work hard. Gambling, as they say, is a hard way to make an easy living, and that's true of professional bettors. When you are self-employed, it's tough to ever turn off the work part of your brain. You're always thinking about your business and how you can improve on it. Living a balanced lifestyle can be difficult when you're a professional bettor. One of the reasons I transitioned into sports betting is because it significantly cut down on the amount of travel that I have to do. However, sporting events happen almost 24 hours a day, so my betting business could be theoretically open 24 hours a day if I let it. So it can reach a point of overload very quickly. Another item that gets underestimated is how much a professional bettor needs to adapt to change. No angle lasts forever. I can list off dozens of great things I used to bet on with a significant edge that have either disappeared or that I can no longer get an edge on. That's why a lot of professional bettors like to network with other pros. There's a lot to gain by having a trusted circle to work with or to exchange ideas with. What are some of the ways pro bettors find what to bet on? Well, check out this video here and you'll see exactly how that works. I'll see you in there.